had to make sure I was on the defending champion game with you here, Darren. So excited to see these clubs. This 5-star top-tier club is loaded per usual. NEB is always bringing a good roster. They go national with their team. They get players from all over, even though they are predominantly from the Northeast, as the name would indicate. But looking forward to a great game here. We're going to see one of the favorites, a favorite to repeat potentially in this 5-star top-tier club, and lots of very, very good players.
And a lot of that. If you're joining us for the first time, this is a heavily scouted event. As we unofficially shared that number, more than 700 golf carts tooling around this spot. Every major league team is represented, very deeply represented. Is almost every scout for an organization, at least higher level scouts here at this event?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, they'll put together, teams of guys to come down, and those teams are generally made up of the high level decision makers. I don't know if there's any general managers here, but there's definitely scouting directors here. There's national cross-checkers here. There's regional cross-checkers here. There's a handful of area guys from each team here, depending on the concentration of the players from their respective areas. And a lot of teams bring down the coordinator guys, too, out of the office to get different looks in that. And not to mention all the guys here specifically working on video or working on data stuff. And they are well represented. Every major league team is, like you said, Darren, by a bunch of different people.
All right, so it's time to go to work. Left-hander on the mound, kicks around, gets comfortable out there. Again, this team, a lot of players from Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania. And a chance to see a left-hander go to work against this lineup. James Nunnally, Hunter Carnes, Miles Bailey, Cade Brown. There's a bunch of PG All-Americans right out of the gates there in those first couple of spots. Tell me what you enjoy watching Andy Burris' team when you see them.
Yeah, Hunter Carnes is a guy that I've had circled. We talked about him throughout the course of the summer. He was a PG All-American. He's a very, very athletic catcher. He's in that sort of new age mold of the freak athletes who play behind the plate defensively. Hit 2 home runs at National. Dealt with a bit of an injury situation throughout the course of the summer, so we didn't see him at the All-American Classic, obviously, but a guy that I've been very excited to lock in on this week in Jupiter. Hunter Carnes, the freaky athlete catcher with power. I like those profiles.
We're told the left-handed pitcher is Brady Miller that is working in this game, if I got that one correct. A different jersey number than he sports right now, but Brady Miller goes to work. And does so out there on the bump. Miller, Austin College commit, Belmont Hills High School, Massachusetts native.
Big-bodied lefty. You can see the projection there remaining in the frame. He's already filled out pretty well, but there'll be some room to fill there. And generally speaking, Sut, big lefty with some stuff. Those guys will keep getting opportunities. So I would imagine that we're going to see some pretty good stuff from Miller here.
James Nunnally, Hunter Carnes, and Miles Bailey to start things. Brady, or Boo, as his mates call him. His mom is Lisanne, his dad is Robert. And it's just the 3 of those Millers together. He's the only child. I'm sure a lot of great baseball memories if that's the case. And Miller, a great golfer. As a matter of fact, has played varsity high school golf for a couple of years at a pretty darn competitive and successful level. Let's play. We're glad you're with us. Pool play action between 2 really strong programs. 5-star top tier up top. Conglomerate, if you will, the merger, NEB down below if you're looking at the score bug. And we're glad whether you're watching us on your smartphone or beautiful smart TV that you're hanging out with us. What I like to call a baseball carnival here at Jupiter, Florida. Line drive, base hit for James Nunnally to start things.
That's pretty peak James Nunnally there. Like, he really fits that top of the order leadoff hitter type of profile. It's a quick stroke. It's compact from the left side like we just saw on display there. But he'll use the whole field. That one goes to the pull side. He'll use the whole field. He's a good runner. He's a good athlete. Just really fits that leadoff hitter type of mold.
And now he deals with the man who at Perfect Games National Showcase homered twice. Hunter Carnes, talented PG All-American, and a gifted catcher, loads up that back leg and gets ready to go to work. 1-0 the count to Hunter.
Prior to this year's National, no one had ever hit 2 home runs over the course of PG National. And then we saw it done twice this year. Caleb Bonnemer, of course, and Hunter Carnes was the second one. Remarkable.
Carnesy is a Florida State commit. He lives in Jacksonville, Florida. His school is First Coast. Called his spring fun, playing with the guys, getting to know new people. He mentions, as he shared, as he gives that one a ride, deep toward left field. Toward the corner that one goes. Carnes, my goodness! What a 2023 for Hunter Carnes. A 2-run home run here in Jupiter.
Ball was crushed. Our angle here from the line, the biggest thing that stood out to me was just how out in front the barrel was, and I mean that complimentary. He really beat that fastball to the spot there. That's what we're talking about when we talk about bat speed, getting the barrel head out in front. He just ambushed that, and I think he maybe thought he hit it too high, and it doesn't look like he was really confident with it out of the box. We'll have to work on that with him, but either way, that ball was crushed.
There's the reaction coming on around out front by Nunnally. David Pengel went as far as he could, deep into left field. And that one sails out of here. 2-0 is the score. 5-star, top tier on top. The big fella, Miles Bailey. Really enjoyed getting to know him so far this summer.
Speaking of guys who can hit balls far, this top tier 5-star lineup, the middle of it, lots of juice here between Carnes and Bailey. And Cade Brown on deck.
Bailey's a Florida State commit, another one as we speak about where athletes are committed. #1 first baseman in the country. 6'4", 235. Brian, I think what was interesting is you guys scouted him at PG National. For that frame, still ran a 6'9", 60.
Yep, talking about lots of athleticism there. And there's we say for his size, and that's an important qualifier a lot of times because this dude is significantly bigger than the vast majority of his peers who play baseball anyways. So when you're talking about athleticism for size, a dude who's built like that physical, that strong, that muscled up to be able to run under 7 flat, that's a really good athlete.
Well, another one right behind him as it pertains to PG All-Americans. Here's Cade Brown, #4 third baseman in the United States. He's 18 years old. He is a Georgia commit. Cade, again, a PG All-American who has just performed, gotten a little better every year. Cade talks about his sophomore year. His dad, obviously a legendary coach at Parkview High School. But he talks about where things kind of hit the wall for him. And he had a choice. I either grow, put my head down even more, and expand who I am, and maybe get a little bit of depth and maturity in doing so, or I kind of shrink. And he kind of teetered both ways, and it's his sophomore year that he turned everything north. Did he scout that way when you watched him develop?
Yeah. You see that, and guys, every single high school athlete, as far as baseball goes, every single one of them hits those lulls. Every single one of them hits a plateau, or every single one of them runs into a wall. Whether it's psychological, physical, whatever it is, every teenager develops differently,
sure,
psychologically and physically. So it's you see that, but then we kind of like seeing it. We like seeing guys struggle because we want to see how they come back from that. That's important to us. Like, how do you respond to failure in a game that is built around you failing a lot?
And when your dad is the coach, and a very successful one, National Coach of the Year on multiple occasions by different publications and websites, it's that pressure that kind of just hangs over you, which, again, you can grow from. Not all do. He tops that one toward the left side. Leaving his feet, that's an infield hit, unable to make the play out there. That's Jake Haidu, the shortstop. An inning of contact, an inning of really solid hitting, and again, Miles Bailey, a couple of runners on with Brown right behind.
Yeah, and Brown, another one of those big physical, he's 6'2", 220, whatever he is, a big physical guy who is getting down the line well. Like, there's no chance for the shortstop to make that play, regardless of your arm strength, regardless of how quick you get there, because Brown is already there. So just big-time talent in this 5-star NEB, or 5-star top-tier team we're seeing.
Kelvin Paulino Jr., he gets the call. This is an athlete who's a Miami commit. He's from North Carolina. He's an athlete at Ledford High School, and he's playing up a year. This is an 11th grader.
Hitting in the middle of the lineup, too. Says something about something in Jupiter.
What a wonderful opportunity. Slightly open stance. Pretty fastball hits the outside corner from Miller. Who does Paulino love to watch? He's the EH in this one, but can certainly play different parts of the field. He loves Nolan Arenado. He loves Manny Machado. Great defensive third baseman, and he wants to be one of those guys someday.
I got a number for you, Darren. 115.
Okay.
115. Hunter Carnes' bomb.
Wow.
According to TrackMan, which we have set up on every field here, of course, 115 miles an hour on the exit velocity of that Carnes bomb, which is, wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's at the high school level, 115 off the bat, off the wood bat.
Off a wood bat.
1-2, spoils a breaking ball, hits it to the right side. It squeaks on by into shallow right field. The bases are loaded now. Ryan Thompson over there, unable to make the play. But again, Paulino rewarded for contact.
And Miller's kind of he's having a little bit of tough luck here, our pitcher. He's generally sitting in that 87, 88 mile an hour range with the fastball. He's throwing a slider in the upper 70s. He's throwing strikes. The location doesn't look to be all that bad with the exception of maybe the bomb. But an infield hit here, a second one there, and we know he gave up the home run, but he's pitching a little bit better than the results have shown, in my opinion, so far.
And he'd love to wiggle off the hook here. He just hasn't been able to get an out. Andrew Tess, he's a pit commit. He takes just above the strike zone. He's a pit commit who's from Clearwater, Florida. He's at Calvary Christian. What a deep program that is. Just turned 17 years old. Top 200 catcher in the country. Playing center field in this game, so that means he's a good athlete. Good take on a breaking ball that ends up at the shoe tops. 2-0 the count.
Lots of Florida connection on that Pitt staff. Pitt coaching staff. Mike Bell obviously spent a lot of time in Florida. Joe Mercadante was his recruiting coordinator, who's a Florida guy. Joe is obviously now the head coach at North Florida, but a lot of Florida connections for these Pitt guys.
Memory served, doesn't Joe Mercadante have some travel ball ties too?
He was.
Central
He coached
Florida
the Central Florida Gators. That's
I'm,
right.
I'm growing old in this business.
That's right, Darren, yes. And what a team that was. Nolan Gorman, Matt Liberator were on those teams. Mason Denneberg. Really good teams.
That's kind of why I remember him, truth be told.
Yep.
That's kind of why I remember that. And that
Carter Stewart.
Mercadante is not your run-of-the-mill Tim Smith name, too.
That's right. Shouts out to Joe. Maybe he might even be watching.
Andrew Tess, the center fielder, has the count at 2-2 now. Brady Miller trying to reel things in. The BC commit gets a swing and a miss. Big first out. Maybe have him striding in the right direction.
And Miller, he's got to understand they're only down 2 runs, so this is just another good pitch here. It's a fastball that has some carry on it that he just kind of blew right by him on the outer third of the plate. But have to understand, hey, we're down 2 runs right now. Let's wiggle out of this. Let's keep throwing strikes. The ball's in play. Luck is bound to turn your way. At some point, not every ground ball is going to be a hit. So just keep throwing. Great pitch there, starting that bat off against the lefty. Bend a breaker in there. He's pitching well. He really has gotten unlucky with the exception of the Carnes ball that he might have hit to West Palm.
Josh Castellani. Castellani's a Clemson commit. St. Petersburg, Florida. Corner infielder, corner outfielder. Clemson commit. Snap throw to third, and they throw it into shallow left field. Very costly. Trying to help your pitcher out. You love the thought because you're a catcher grinding through with them, but you didn't do that, and you cost your team a run.
Those unforced errors, especially in a situation like this where, hey, we're kind of just holding it together right now. We're trying to get out of this jam. We've had some bad luck. Unforced errors are an absolute killer in those situations.
And now Castellani thinking, all I want to do is flip a ball somewhere out in front of one of those outfielders. I've got 2 RBIs. Danielle and Jim, Castellani's parents. Dad played baseball at Coastal Carolina. Breaking ball and a pretty one. 1-2 the count. That breaks from dugout to dugout.
The first one was really a front hip breaker that he landed over the middle of the plate for a strike. That one, he started a little bit more towards the inner third, and then it breaks all the way to the corner. You're right, Darren. There's quite a bit of horizontal movement on that pitch, and he looks to have confidence in it.
Rolls that one foul up the first base line. So I asked all of these athletes as we prepped and we had some time to, connect with them, do a bit of a pregame interview. I asked them all who's going to win the World Series. Simple question. We're in the middle of it all right now. The man with his bat in his hand says Philadelphia Phillies. That's his call. He went on with all caps to share it's going to be a very red October. Everyone better look out. So there you go.
I think I'm rolling with Philly too, Darren.
I don't know who's right now.
I don't know who's gonna win, but I think, as a Detroiter, my team is not taking part in the postseason this year. But I think we like to pick teams when our teams aren't in it.
Sure.
I think I'm rolling with the Phillies this year. I think I'm gonna do it.
Fun team.
Yeah.
Kind of has that travel ball team
Yeah.
feel.
And I love the aspect of like the fan base at home being intimidating. You know what I mean? And they certainly are. Like I love that vibe.
Well, this big Phillies fan, Josh, has a chance to play it a couple. And he takes a fastball that misses up and away. Castellani also a heck of a pickleball player. We've had ping pong players that have shared their good ping pong players, and we've seen good at bats by ping pong players, hand-eye. Let's see if pickleball can equal that same hand-eye. Let's watch a little contact here. There is contact. It's popped up. Long run toward the corner that one goes. And, boy, that ball went further than I thought.
Pickleball's kind of taken the world by storm.
It has. Yeah. It has. Hey, by the way, old school, no batting gloves.
Absolutely. We love it. We love it.
Look at that.
I don't need no gloves.
You don't see that very often at this level. My goodness. I mean, heck, you used to talk about big leaguers like a Mark Grace, to use an example, who didn't do that. Got a commitment that time, though. Elevated fastball, another big out. So back-to-back strikeouts have maybe gotten that air back in his chest as he moves forward. And
that's a good pitch there. We started the at-bat with those breaking balls. He tried to go back to fastball, threw a couple balls. That one's out of the zone, too. But, again, in a spot where you can induce a swing, given the angle that's coming from in a left-on-left situation. And now you're 1 out away. Keep it at 3. Limit the damage.
Virginia man, Jackson Sirios takes a pitch that is high. He's also committed to go to the University of Virginia. Makes his home in Leesburg. Top 10 player in the state is ranked by you guys with perfect game. Chance to do some 2-out damage. Did he do it? Up the ladder, can't hold on, can he recover? Not in time, everybody moves up, a run does score. What a great effort by Haidu, he just couldn't hold on to it.
Good athletic play there, obviously, defensively. Ball's hit pretty well up the middle. Full extension, reach for it. That's a really athletic play, a nice play. Just, got to come down with it. Got to come down with it.
So Jackson Sirios gives way to Mitchell Rodriguez now. 4-0 the score. 1-0 the count. That misses just off the plate.
And this is, I don't know if anybody would say that Miller has had his A+ stuff locked in or anything like that, but I feel bad here because I think he's pitching better than he's going to end up, his line is going to end up looking.
He shared something about himself I'd love to have you break down if we're able. Swings right through it. He shared with me, he said, I'm a big pronation guy. I love the changeup and the 2-seam, 3-quarters arm slot. When he says I'm a big pronation guy, what does he mean?
He's talking about the way his hand moves when he releases the pitch. And generally, pronation is, I know this is an audio medium, but it's generally like where you're rotating your wrist inwards
Sure.
as you release the ball. And so when you think of
naturally,
the movement,
right?
Yes. When you think of the movement on a sinker, a 2-seamer, or a changeup, how it's moving away like that, that's kind of what generates that movement profile, is when you're able to turn your hand over the top of it and pronate.
Swing and a miss. That one went the other way. Big, heavy, sweeping breaking ball. By the way, the man on the mound, Brady Miller, his World Series champion prediction, the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, hard to argue, really. Hard to argue with that, but what a team.
This left-hander wants to get back in the dugout, see if his team can go to work. Breaking ball, just up and in. Runner swipes that one. Stays put at third. Stolen base for Sirios that time. The other thing Miller shared with us, he said, I can catch a bass or 2 or 3. I get around on a pond, to say the least. So a wonderful fisherman.
Knows his way around a tackle box is what he's saying. Yeah, all right.
A little bit high. Quite a few pitches. That's a lot of work. Mid-30s.
And it's not, you know, July hot here right now, but it's still Florida, and it's still not quite winter. So it's not cold outside. So that's a lot of work in one inning.
The 3-2. Outside corner. Good cut to that pitch. That is strike 3. What an inning. Boy, he really had to work. He did strike out 3 in the inning, but everyone talking about Hunter Carnes. Homer twice at Chase Field, the home of the Diamondbacks, here in Jupiter. Another big league yard. He homers again. Oh, Hunter Carnes takes the rock and he rolls, getting ready to go to work. Valencius will go to work for this 5-star program, and he will deal with Brian Conley, Sean Griggs, Matt Conti, and Magnus Krieger. Those are the first 4. This NEB team and their leadership put together a really good lineup. Who interests you?
Was this summer, but we'll give him a couple pitches to get hot here before we start talking about the present velo.
Good fastball. It is present. Some giddy up that you can hear and you can see. Fastball strike 3 to Conley.
And that's just rearing back and saying, here you go, man. It's a little bit up in the zone. It's above the belt, but you wouldn't call that top of the zone or anything. Just full-on velocity, rear back and chuck. See if you can do anything with it.
His mom is an incredible athlete, long-distance biker all over Europe at the highest of levels. As that fastball again pops the outside corner to Sean Griggs, the designated hitter. His dad, a very famous long-distance skier. His dad, Joseph, as that one is high, and his mom, Veda. And then, of course, we talked about Vitas, who is an interesting name, to say the least, as a prospect.
Mm-hmm. He can hit. Vitas can hit. It's been he started his career at South Carolina, didn't work out there, ended up on the JUCO route at John A. Logan, which is a strong junior college in Southern Illinois in that Carbondale area. And he can always rake. He's always raked. That's something he's always done. Came back from injury, really transformed his body, got more athletic, and Illinois is expecting him to do big things in the middle of their lineup this year.
Looked like he pulled the string on him that time, swings over the top of it. The Alabama commit, Sean Griggs, top 40 third baseman in the country. Back-to-back strikeouts, though, to start things.
And we're seeing really big stuff from Valencius here so far. It's been 90-93 with the fastball. The slider's been at 82. I think that was a changeup, like you said there, Darren, pulling the string on him. But either way, it looks like a 3-pitch mix with big stuff.
From Andover, Massachusetts, Matt Conti gets a chance to hit. The catcher, the Wake Forest commit. Son of Kelly and Sam. Bouncing ball and a fastball, middle of the diamond. Great approach, uses the big part of the ballpark. Matt with the hit.
I think that was just as simple as, like, you know, walking to the plate saying, as soon as I see a fastball, I'm going to take a rip. As soon as I see a fastball for a strike, I'm going to take a rip. And that's what he got. He just got a fastball over the heart of the plate, didn't try and do too much with it, stayed committed to the middle of the field, and punched a single through. And now NEB's got something moving. They're giving their guys a little bit extra time in the dugout after that long top of the first. Good piece of hitting.
Yeah, chance to catch your breath, as you said. Clayton, Magnus, Krieger. And Krieger takes ball 1 out of Coatesville, Pennsylvania. Coatesville Area Senior High School. Seton Hall is his college of commitment, awaiting his arrival, the son of Clayton and Janet. That one nearly got him in the shoe tops. Nice job, by the way, by Carnes.
Very good. They're talking about the athleticism already with him. The lateral agility, just you saw it right there. That's the example. That's when we talk about the lateral agility required to be a catcher, to be a good defensive catcher in today's game. That's what we're talking about.
NEB trying to maybe just scratch one out, see if they can do it. It's tough. It's just so easy from this left-handed pitcher as he zips one over the outside corner. When did Mackenzie Gore show up at this game?
I don't think that leg gets quite that high.
No, I understand. Just has that good athletic feel on the mound. Handles himself like an athlete. It's easy. It's not.
Yep.
It's not a violent delivery at all.
Not at all. It's controlled aggression is what we want to see on the mound.
On the ground, out toward short, played Cap Bill high. Throw is high, trying to recover, pop the tag down, unable to do so. That was Daniel Hernandez, the shortstop. Miles Bailey, big, tall, and strong, went off the bag, tried to pop the tag down, and couldn't do so.
Yeah, this just felt like he was rushed. I know he's coming in to his right, and you have to make that cross-body throw, but it just felt like he could have maybe taken one more step to fully set his feet and might have thrown off his back foot a little bit there, and as a result, airmailed it. But yeah, it just felt like he had another half a step where he could have gathered himself and thrown. NEB have something brewing here.
Veer Wadwani will run out there as a pinch runner and do so for Conti, the catcher. Again, Veer Wadwani. Just in and off the plate. This is Ryan Thompson. Thompson, the first baseman. He's from Lincoln, Rhode Island. As a Rhode Island commit, plays at Bishop Hendrickson High School. And I should say Hendricken High School. Corner infielder. Rolls one up the third baseline, and it's a foul ball.
I believe, I don't want to be mistaken here, I could be wrong, but Bishop Hendricken, home of Alex Clemmy last year, is that right?
I believe that's correct.
Cleveland second rounder? Yes, Bishop Hendricken. Good pull.
Tomas trying to work his way out of this inning. He's got such strong Eastern European roots. He may go by Thomas to all his friends, but there's no way I'm calling him Thomas.
That's Tomas. There's no H in the name. It's got to be Tomas, right?
Yes.
I'm with you. As a proud Eastern European myself.
2-2 the count. Turns on a fastball. Diving play at third. Long throw across the diamond. Can he dig it out? He did. He got him at first base. Oh, what a play by All-American Cade Brown.
It's All-American to All-American there. Brown makes a diving play down the line, gets up, good athleticism in the lower half, knows he just has to get it close because he's got Miles Bailey over there. Another All-American who did a great job picking it. Good defensive play to end it.
4-0. Luis Gonzalez works behind the plate and Antonio Pinzone. The level of umpires, we see a lot of minor league umpires. I like to say a casual word, side hustling this event, and that makes this event much better to have the level of, it's important.
Absolutely. And that you say it like that's literally what they're doing. Their season's over, they're done being paid by minor league baseball, and we are more than willing to pay them to come call our games because they are really good umpires, and that's what we want.
Yeah,
that's what we want here.
I think that's a fun part of this story. I really do.
Yep.
Caden Hart leads it off. You got 10 and 11 in the batting order. You can hit a few extra up to 11. And it bats for the athletes. Hart, the right fielder. And even though he struck out everyone that he retired as outs, Brady Miller, he'd love to have a much cleaner inning. He's kind of knocking at 40 pitches. That was all that work in the first inning. Had some tough breaks behind him as well.
Have an 8-pitch inning here. Feel confident about it, you know. The deficit's still only 4. You know, it's hardly, insurmountable.
Hart, a Virginia Tech commit out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. High bouncing ball won't be easy. It levels off, shooting it on across, and in time for the out. He was dealing with a big, strong right fielder running there, so Haidu didn't rush. One pitch, one out after throwing a few effective pitches before.
And just stay in that, you know, as Brady Miller, thinking out loud here as if I were to be pitching. Stay in that. He threw a pretty good changeup there we saw at 80 miles an hour that missed away but was still a solid pitch. And then comes back with the fastball to get weak contact. That's what we're looking for.
Brian keeps knocking over our fan here with his violent game calling. In our temporary, unique booth on the third base side. We're getting enough of a fan from the man above out here. Beautiful breezes when you're in the shade, and we're in the shade.
Gorgeous Florida day in the shade here today.
That one is lifted foul. That's Daniel Hernandez. Danny, he is not afraid to go by Danny to those who love him, is from Polk City, Florida. A University of Houston commit and the son of Iris and Samuel. His brother Sammy drafted by the Blue Jays in 2022. Sammy Hernandez was moved to the St. Louis Cardinals in his first year, playing single A, Dunedin, Palm Beach Gardens as well. So Sammy Hernandez, a prospect. I'm sure younger brother watching him very closely. Changeup dives outside.
Miller hasn't had his best command today necessarily, but, you know, you don't like the nibbling. 2-1, trying to dot a changeup away. Like, I feel like we need to pitch more in attack mode, and that right there is a good example of it. That's a secondary pitch, but it's in the zone. It's a strike. It's going to be called a strike if it's not swung at. Attack these guys.
Danny is attacked, and that's strike three, as Brian's talking about. A couple of quick outs.
Absolutely, and that's what you're looking for. Now the lineup's going to turn over back to the top. Do not let what just happened in the first inning happen again. Get this guy out. He's a left-handed hitter. You have an advantage. Attack him and get back in the dugout.
James Nunnally, Aldie, Virginia commit. The son of Song, who is his mom, and James Sr., who is his dad. Big breaking ball, letter high, but a strike.
He's finding feel for that now, finding that comfort. Generally speaking, in my experience, once you see a pitcher start to throw his breaker for a strike, that means he feels like he's found it that day. And we've seen him this inning throw a couple really good ones now to both lefties and righties.
The man who he loves to watch play, and I think you'll enjoy this, Gunnar Henderson. You scouted him, you watched him. He said, I love how hard he plays, the energy. He said, I think we may have similar swings. I've learned a lot from him.
Sure. You could see that.
Big compliment to Gunnar, and again, someone who feels like it was day before yesterday he was playing here at this event.
Yep. I love seeing that too. You know, the guys we just saw 3, 4, 5 years ago playing here are now the guys that the current players look up to. You know what I mean? Whether they're rookies in the big leagues or they're stars or they're still in the minors, whatever it is, those are the guys that are talked about in comparison. And just makes for a cool dynamic, especially in a place like this.
3-1 the count to Nunnally. And there you go. He wanted to move through clean. Nunnally puts a good at bat on him, and now you got Carnes and Bailey and Brown right behind. Nunnally, by the way, his pick to win the World Series, he's going to go with the Baltimore Orioles. Yeah. That's his pick.
What a year for them.
A lot of young, talented players and more on the way. A very famous PG alum, Matt Holliday's son, Jackson Holliday. Gosh, if it were a more depleted organization, they might have moved him all the way up to the big leagues. See the Angels as an example of teams that did that. So it's been incredible. Conversation with Miller.
Saw a stat on Nolan Shanuel. I don't know if this is a stat really, but it took him longer to take his first pro at bat after his college season ended. So however long that gap was, 2 months, whatever it was, that was a longer gap than the gap between his first pro at bat and making the big leagues.
What a great story.
Pretty remarkable.
The 400+ on base percentage as a major leaguer for a team that was just starving for something positive. And he gave it to him.
Absolutely.
Good old-fashioned at bats, contact, and throwing the backside one way, the hands the other for base hits over and over and over. Runner on the move. It slips on by. He can stand up, takes an aggressive turn, is heading toward third. No throw. That's heads-up base running, literally, because you're sliding. You pay attention to what's going on. Once it slipped by Conti, he just kept running.
As you see the impact of the speed there, and most importantly on that was the mechanics of it. Like you said, Darren, he came around the bag with his head up. He heard the coach yelling up. He didn't have to slide. Sees the ball where it is, instinctually immediately takes off. Like, that was the important part of the play, but you see the speed there too.
That pitch misses low. Quick introduction, by the way, to the NEB staff. Scott Patterson is the founder, born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio. Founded NEB back in 2008. 9 first-round draft picks, including Sal Frelick, Brett Beatty, names like that. Over the years, Scott and NEB have had over 1,000 players move on and play college baseball. 130 draft picks, including, you mentioned, Alex Clemmie being the most recent. He played collegiately, by the way, at Cuyahoga Community College and Union University in Jackson, Tennessee. That's their founder, Scott Patterson. Group comprised of mostly New England players, like Abraham of Worcester, Mass, also on that staff as well. And Miller bounces back, gets a big strikeout, strands that runner at third. He does have, if you're looking for a positive, and let's do it, 5 strikeouts. His team is down 4-0. Many scouts have gathered, and they're not missing out on a talented left-hander. Many of his teammates as well. His battery mate, his catcher, has already homered. But Tomas Valencias, it's been fun to watch the ease with which he works on the mound. The ball kind of just jumps right off his fingertips.
Absolutely, and it's part of that is just how physically strong he is. Yeah, how much force he's able to create and generate without looking like he's trying to. That speaks to the athleticism and the physicality. But yes, you're right. It's jumping out of the hand. It's good velocity. He's not throwing 100, but it's a good 90-93 from the left side. He's diving that slider in. He's turning over a changeup. He looks great.
Yeah, there must be a little bit of height to that baseball too, because that 90 plus is really playing. I mean, it is playing up quick. Goes right to work and deals with a shortstop. This is Jake Haidu. Getting to know the talented athlete, number 16 on that jersey. He's an Elon commit, Massachusetts native from Sterling, Massachusetts. That fastball dots the inside corner. Battled back from torn ligaments in his thumb this spring. Haidu did. Had surgery, was able to get ready for his summer season, playing for NEB all summer. He's been with NEB for almost 10 years. Had a great stop in Hoover, made it to the Sweet 16. Had a chance to enjoy playing against the best of the best at East Cobb at the WWBA Nationals as he takes strike 3 over the outside corner.
Just kind of setting him up and sitting him down there from Valencias. That was, gets ahead 0-2 on fastballs. Drops the slider in there on that one, 83 miles an hour. Good bite to it. Just nothing you can do there as the hitter, as Haidu. You can't pull the trigger on that.
Good fastball. You could hear it at home, I'm sure, or on your device. Just pop into Carnes catcher's mitt. Dominic Gabardi from Wilmington, Massachusetts. Pitcher, outfielder, two-way player. Fairfield University is where he is committed. Played college soccer at Butler. His dad, Stephen. Oh, it's loud when it gets to home plate. Now I know Hunter is working on that ego by popping it into that good-looking catcher's mitt, but still, you can just hear that fastball. Everyone dives low, 3-1.
It's still 90-91 up to 2. He's holding that low 90s velocity, and then obviously making a good sound when it gets to the plate.
Just off the plate outside.
Good at bat there. Don't need to help him out. Obviously, he's having all the success in the world already. So why not take the balls?
Luke Gallo from Shrewsbury, Massachusetts, a Boston College commit. He's at Phillips Academy Andover, where he's a 2025 grad. So a wonderful opportunity for a junior to play here in Jupiter, Florida. As he takes low, 1-0 the count. The son of Steve and Tricia, the youngest of 3 at home in the Gallo family. Both older sisters played Division I softball. Aaron played at Columbia, and Deidre played at Georgetown, his older sisters. It's pretty cool. You get a little bit of a roadmap. What does college sports look like? Well, you know, how are you challenged academically? What about the workouts? It's a diamond sport too, so you can really study what they went through.
There's so much into being a college athlete that I don't think, you know, the general public even understands. There's so much. It is a full-time job when you combine it with the school. And it takes a lot. It takes a lot to be good. It takes a lot to be good at school and at your sport once you get to the college level.
Oof. Just in and off the plate. To the man, Luke Gallo, who believes the Houston Astros will win the World Series this year. That's his prediction. His favorite player, though, is Xander Bogaerts. Loves watching him play because grew up a Red Sox fan. He's in your shoes, so if he's a Red Sox fan, he gets to pick another team to watch in the postseason.
That's right. Yeah, that's absolutely right.
You could bond with him, a Tigers fan bonding with a Red Sox fan.
Sure. No, there's no way. 2013 still hurts too bad.
Okay.
Yep.
No bonding. Grandfather played for a bit in the Red Sox organization, drafted by the Red Sox, never took it all the way to the top. So it was family ties. That one slips on by on the first base side, hustling up the line, not in time. A little bit too hot to handle for Miles Bailey, a couple of runners on.
And just again, the NEB approach has been fine. You know, you're probably not going to be dropping tanks, especially with a guy like this on the mound, but keep the at-bats consistent, keep the approach consistent, try your best to, you know, consistently make contact. We're not trying to give away outs with bad swings, and then just piece it together. Get 1 or 2 at a time, keep the zeros coming on the mound, and maybe jump right back into this game.
David Pengel. Right-handed bat from beautiful Avon, Connecticut. Chance to spend some time there in the summertime. What a pretty spot. He's at Avon High School. He's a Northeastern commit, son of Ted and Donna. And his sister, Jackie, big sis, plays softball at Syracuse. Another one of those Lewis and Clark situations where she's out front. Quickly 0-2. Young man was the perfect game Deep South tournament most valuable player. Got him to swing over the top of a secondary pitch that time.
Just kind of, he's doing a really good job with the secondary stuff in terms of keeping it down, keeping it on the edges. The fastball command you've seen has been a little bit erratic. Nothing wild, but, you know, not really dotting it with the fastball.
Is that slider or changeup?
I think that was a slider.
Okay.
I'd have to watch it again. But, yeah, he's putting those secondary pitches on the edges, down in the zone at the knees, and getting them called strikes when they aren't being swung at. And when they are swung at, it's tough to do anything with them.
Adonis Medina from Providence, Rhode Island, takes a fastball over the outside corner for strike 1. He's a URI commit. He's at Central High School right now. Manuel and Gertrudis are his parents, and he's got a twin sister. He is Adonis. His twin sis is Manuela. Very cool. Blocked up, but it kicks far enough away. Fired down. And both runners move up, and you put yourself. Carnes did all he could to block it. You put yourself now in a position where a contact single makes it a game.
Mm-hmm. And that was kind of just a good baseball player all around there. You know, nothing Carnes could do really. I thought he blocked it pretty well. He was really quick up to go pick it up and make a strong throw to second. But conversely, the instincts and the immediate jumps from the NEB runners were very, very strong too.
Adonis on the ground. In the outfield grass, the play is made by Jackson Sirios, the second baseman. Couple of runners stranded, 4 strikeouts overall from Tomas Valencias. His team, 5-star top-tier Roos on top, 4-0. So we watched for a bit as Brady Miller worked, and there's certainly some upside as he struck out 5. Had to battle through it just a bit, but let's get to know Tommy Mitchell now. He takes this opportunity here in Jupiter, Florida. He is from Milton, Mass. He is an Elon commit. Tommy Mitchell, standing 6'4", 180, and you can see there's a lot of length and a little bit of funk as it comes to the plate. His chance here in Jupiter to earn some stripes on his baseball resume.
Long, lanky build, like you said. Darren was watching him warm up. It looks like he's got some slinger to him, maybe a little bit of a lower slot. Generally a mid-upper 80s guy. We'll see if he PRs in velo today. Not that it really matters, but generally should be mid-upper 80s.
Right away, that one dies at home plate. Swung on and missed by Miles Bailey. You're right, you guys have had him up to 88 miles an hour. Miles walked and eventually scored a run. On a miscue, an attempted pickoff throw, he came on down to score. The perfect game All-American. Breaking ball, that's strike 3. Started it right at his kneecap, and it dipped right down the middle.
That's just good morning, good afternoon, good night there from Mitchell. Tough at bat for Bailey there, left on left. He's throwing it from behind your hip. There's all kind of funk and spin with it. Good stuff. Good stuff here, obviously on the mound, but that's a really tough at bat too for Bailey.
Cade Brown singled first at bat. Was right to work, saw something straight and hacked at it. High fly right field, fighting that sun, but holding on to make the play is Clayton Krieger. Clayton Magnus Krieger, the right fielder. Couple of quick outs. That's just what the doctor ordered for Mr. Mitchell. .22 overall innings at perfect game events, 26 strikeouts for Mitchell as he hits the outside corner with the breaking ball to Calvin Paulino. Strike 1.
Throwing that slider in there, 77, 78 miles an hour with it, definitely pitching primarily off of it so far. But you can see why, too. He's got the confidence in it. He throws it with conviction. He's landing it for strikes against lefties and righties. Got some swing and miss from Bailey with it.
Pretty fastball. Speaking of throwing off the slider, if you can do that, kneecap high, outer black. That's a tough pitch. It never feels like it's a strike. Takes that one the other way. That's what you do. Diving attempt. Did he hold on? He did. What a play by Krieger. Boy, on this field 6, we've seen over the last couple of games some outstanding outfield play, and no difference there. An outstanding job by Clayton Magnus Krieger.
Yeah, just really good instincts. This is a good at-bat here. You know, gets a pitch away. It's a little bit softer, trying to hit the ball the opposite way. Does a good job with it, but a really good instinctual break out there by Krieger. Lays out at the last second, makes a great play.
Jupiter, good stuff.
I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get a no call to quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all of this. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out.
I feel like Mike Jordan, give me the rock and I'm scoring. Hey, came from the bottom, that's foreign. I swear that I'm up for the sun in the morning. I told him this ain't a game.
That'd be fun, but it'd be quite boring compared to the Jupiter event. No offense to the Marlins, you're pros at that point. As that's a high pop to the right side. Easy chance over there. Miles Bailey out number 1. They got Connolly.
And this is baseball Disney World, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's a festival as much as it is a tournament. It's a spectacle as much as it is a tournament. I'm not doing that, by the
No, our
way.
fan. You
Yeah.
might have heard that at home. We have as we said, the good Lord is providing a breeze, so we may just leave that fan on the ground. As
Absolutely.
The first pitch is a breaking ball over the inside corner to Sean Griggs. Griggs struck out back in the first inning. He takes that one high.
It's before I was rudely interrupted by the fan. Obviously, just talking about the specialness of this place, of this event, of this time of year, of the camaraderie of everyone coming together. It's a big, giant amateur baseball family reunion in so many ways. As we had a quick second out there on a soft liner to third. But I look forward to this every single year, and I know you do too, Darren.
Yeah, it's a wonderful gathering. Griggs, the Alabama commit, is the second out on a line drive, and that fastball is up and away to Matt Conti. Do need to mention Griggs and how much he has performed. 2, 4, 6 times he's been a perfect game all-tournament team member. He's played a lot for Niners Baseball Club when he was a younger man, and he has just really performed at every stop. Matt Conti singled back in the first inning.
Valencia's just, we're just kind of looking for him to maintain at this point. We don't need to see him do anything better or more than he's already done so far in his 2 2/3 innings. Now just, hey, hold it. How long are you going to go? Are you going 4 or 5 innings, 3 innings, whatever it is? Hold your stuff that long, continue to throw strikes, continue to attack, continue to use your entire arsenal. That's what we want to see from him. And he's been great so far.
He's from Lockport, Illinois, this talented left-handed pitcher. He's in Tennessee at the Baylor School, a boarding prep school, and is a Virginia commit. Little topped ground ball out to short. Easy chance and a nice throw across the diamond from Daniel Hernandez. Brian said it, just do what you continue to do, the talented left-hander. Valencia's the Virginia commit. A quick 1, 2, 3 inning. Brian Sikowski, Darren Sutton, and you. Thank you for being all of us, wherever you are hanging out, whether you're watching on your PC, you're watching on your laptop, your smart device, your tablet, or that beautiful screen in your family room, or maybe out by a pool somewhere. Taking us in, you're joining us from Jupiter, Florida, the 25th edition of the World Wood Bat Association World Championship. Those are all scouts and coaches, by the way. And this man was fun, Tommy Mitchell. You actually, I think, were surprised by some of the radar readings you saw.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing his second inning here. Like, I've been, anticipating it for 15 minutes now or whatever. But yeah, he came out throwing mostly sliders. We talked about in the upper 70s, he was getting swings and misses on him. But then when he was rearing back and dotting his fastball, it was at 89. So he was PRing. That's his new top velocity in perfect game events. So this is skinny and lefty and athletic and angular from the left side with that stuff. Like, very, very, very interesting when you start to talk about the projection here.
From Milton, Mass. Fell down, but threw a strike.
Usually you don't throw the strike when you fall.
You know, it's so funny. That's a traditional old school mound. A lot of these pitchers have actually gotten used to the more turf mound in a lot of these fields. Put them up on a traditional dirt mound, and sometimes that'll happen. Good pitch, 1 and 2.
Darren, as a former minor league pitcher, could you have ever imagined a world where you would primarily not throw on dirt and clay? You know what I mean?
With plastic cleats?
Yeah. Could you have ever fathomed a world where you'd probably be mostly throwing off turf with plastic cleats?
No. And it's great. There's more games that can be played in a single day.
Nothing but positives to it.
More platforms for you. It's different, though.
Yep.
Evolve. Advance. I would have loved the opportunity. That means that travel baseball would have been born 3 decades earlier, and I would have had a chance to play in these type of events, PG events, in a place like East Cobb where you have those turf mounds. Heck, there are college campuses, elite programs that have those turf mounds. The 3-2 pitch. He lost him. So Andrew Tess, the center fielder, who struck out first time up, is on.
A good at bat from Tess there. He just kind of took. Landed some breaking balls for strikes there, but didn't have the fastball commanded that in that at bat. So a good at bat from Tess. A good job to just kind of wait him out.
Castellani loves watching Bryce Harper, Kyle Tucker. Those are left-handed hitters. He feels like he can relate. Castellani comes up empty that time. He's got some length to his frame, and he said, that's why I like watching Tucker. He's a tall lefty hitter. And he said, what I love about Harper, he's just aggressive.
Kyle Tucker didn't swing with batting gloves either when he was a high school kid.
Really?
Yeah. He was
like a Volt, Brian Sikowski.
when he was an amateur, when he was a high school kid, because obviously he never played college ball, but it was like that old school. He had his hands real low, no batting gloves, just kind of loose and whippy, hammering baseballs, and he had an old school look about him in that way. But not much old school about the way he plays the game now, being an all-star in Major League Baseball and all that. But it was something to watch because he'd come out there with no batting gloves, kind of looked like he just walked out of wherever and get on the field and hit balls 450 feet.
Kyle Tucker, a 2015 grad. Swing and a miss over the top of a changeup there. Left on left changeup. Just disappeared at home plate. To finish the thought on Tucker, a PG All-American. This would have been tough for Tucker to handle.
Yeah, that's a good pitch.
Tucker, a PG All-American. Trying to see if he played up in Jupiter. Never played. He never played in the Jupiter event. Played at a lot of PG events. Was a 2014 PG National. That one driven toward left field. That one's down for a base hit. Jackson Sirios hurrying on around. Runners on first and third now. Tess with a great read on that one. Immediately goes first to third. Sirios 2 for 2.
And that was actually a pretty good job there by the center fielder to cut that off, to run that down, because our runner had a head of steam there coming around. He was going to score from second or from first even, because this was bobbled a little bit. But a pretty good job of cutting that off, recovering quickly. That's a tough play to come up with cleanly because you're not really reading the hop and you're coming at it from the backhand. So a good job to knock that down, be quick about it, pick it up, get it back in. That saved a run. Now, Mitchell's got to do his part too.
Yeah, Adonis Medina out there with a really nice play, as Brian mentioned. We've got a nickname for Kyle Tucker. I do anyway in my house. It's 1-1. He is going to be my #1 fantasy baseball player pick every year. That breaking ball is a strike. Mitchell Rodriguez struck out looking. Florida State commit. He's at Lakeland Christian. He's at 2025. So getting a chance to play up. Now let's see what they do here. Oh, what a huge jump. And then Thompson had a tough time getting it out of his glove. That was a massive jump, though, by Jackson.
If you're picked off at first against a left-handed pitcher, why not just
keep
off?
running?
Yeah, just go. You're probably going on first move anyway, right? So you're taking that risk already.
They're going to draw the infield in, hope for some uncomfortable contact here, or an atom ball. Infield drawn all the way in. They need to stop it. They're down 4-0. Well, that'll help. Good take. Didn't get the extended call. I think that was a ball outside, but just a really good take there by Mitchell.
Need a strikeout here. Need a strikeout here if you're NEB. Good way to get one.
"17 years old, so older for his class. 17, nearly 18 years old as a junior. Swing and a miss. Big strikeout that time. They're turning into an out with the throw. That's Matt Conti, too, blocking it up. Pair of strikeouts in the inning, and 3 overall for Mitchell.
It's another great slider here. Another great breaking ball that's down and away. It's in a perfect spot. A good job by Conti to get over and block it. Heads up to look at third. Heads up by Mitchell to immediately come cover the plate, because with first base not being occupied, you have to throw down there.
All right, it's Caden Hart's turn now. Takes a pitch outside. Let's see if Caden can come up with some 2-out magic. Virginia Tech commit out of Oak Grove High School. Another junior playing in this event as he rolls that one foul. I asked Caden, what have you learned in spring and summer of 23 to this point? And he said, and I quote, that if you act like a buffalo, you can get through storms and problems or even difficulties.
Yeah,
There you go.
I have no argument.
Thought that was pretty thoughtful.
I don't know. I don't necessarily know what that means, but I definitely don't have an argument against it.
I thought it was pretty thoughtful. Caden Hart. Two-time conference player, all-conference player on the gridiron as a football player. He also knows his way. We're talking about those that know their way around a pond as a fisherman. He knows his way around a barn because he's a future farmer of America.
Okay.
And around a church steeple because he's a FCA member as well.
Sure.
Just fouls that one back to the screen. Future farmers of America. He's had a couple of surgeries last football season. Had to get back to health. That was frustrating for him. This is kind of a grinder as a player. Act like a buffalo. Down off the end of the bat, lifted toward the alley in left center field. That one is down. Now that Buffalo's running. He touches second. Is the Buffalo heading to third? The relay, the slide. Got it. He did storm out of the box like a Buffalo, though, and he drove in a pair.
He was coming around second like one, too, man. He was chugging. You know, obviously don't want to get thrown out at third there, but that's a double and 2 RBIs, and it is 6-0 heading to the fourth, and you got to feel good about that. I think it was a little bit of a misjudged route there by the left fielder, but either way, the ball was hit too well. Good piece of hitting.
6-0. 6-0 is the score. Tomas Valencias has been very, very good. I'm sitting by Brian Sikowski, who scouts some of the best players in the land. What have you seen?
Yeah, it's just been really consistent. We talked a little bit about how the fastball command hasn't been locked in necessarily, but he's throwing strikes with everything. He's shown a changeup with good dive. The slider has bite. He's held that 90-91 mile per hour fastball range, which was up to 93 earlier. He's big and physical. He's filled up the zone. There's not much to dislike, if anything. You know what I mean? And he's been pretty efficient, too. He's back out here for his 4th inning. Has been a great day for Valencias.
Krieger made a wonderful play in right field, a diving play, if you will, and it was outstanding. He also reached on a miscue earlier in this game. So Clayton Magnus Krieger goes to work, hits it out toward third on a hop, down to a knee. Back up with it to make the play is Cade Brown, the PG All-American.
And I think we're seeing a nice mix from Valencias of, you know, being able to go for the strikeout once he gets two strikes on guys. But early in counts, he's forcing weak contact. Here you go, hit a 4-hopper to third base on the second pitch of the at-bat. That's great for me. You know, that's efficient. Keeps my teammates involved even, you know, but we've seen him do both, which is something that every good pitcher is able to do.
1-0 the count to Ryan Thompson. Thompson grounded out to third, the Rhode Island commit from Lincoln. Pretty fastball, 1-1. Fly ball, well struck, right field, but hangs up nicely for Caden Hart to surround it and make the play for the second out of the inning. It's always unfair. You get an athletic left-hander who, you know, not 6'6", he's more of a smaller frame. And you always want to comp. Who can I comp to? Who can I comp to? And I need to back off of that. He's all of Tomas Valencias. That's who he is.
That's the comp.
You don't have to make him Cade Horton. You don't have to make him Robbie Snelling. You don't have to do that. Those are good lefties, though.
He's strong like Snelling.
Rolled to the right side, but it's foul. Robbie Snelling out of Nevada, a one-time football player as well. I believe the Padres organization, and had an amazing season.
Yes. One of the best pitching prospects in baseball after what he did this year in pro ball. But yeah, he was a 5-star outside linebacker, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
In fact, until his senior year, or really until the summer prior to his senior year, he was a football guy. Like that was the okay, he's also a pretty decent left-handed pitcher, but he's really a 5-star linebacker. And then it became, oh, actually he's a first rounder on the mound, so
Valencias, boy, what a beautiful firm fastball. It's outside. He kind of gave a tongue-in-cheek answer, by the way, Tomas, on who's going to win the World Series this year, which tells me he's got a sense of humor. As that one's inside. Lost him that time. It's ball 4. As I told you guys earlier, I asked all these athletes, it's postseason time, right? We're all watching games in the evening if we get a chance. And I asked them all, simple question, who's going to win the 2023 World Series? His answer, the Chicago White Sox.
Absolutely. Absolutely they are. Yep. I have no argument.
Yeah. No. He did 2 lines down when I asked him as he gets a swing and a miss from Dominic Gabardi. I said, please share something about yourself that would surprise us. And Tomas, the pitcher, said, I'm a funny guy. You already showed us 2 lines up, Cowboy. Threw that one away on the pickoff. I'm going to guess once it trickles to the bullpen, that's a dead ball out there.
He will get third base because he stepped off, I believe is what I heard the umpire say. If he'd just gone over, I think maybe that's, you only get 1 base, but because you fully step off the rubber and throw it away, and it goes out of play, you get 2 bases. I think that's the rule. That sounded like what the umpire said.
Well, it's the rule at this point if we say it's the rule.
Absolutely.
So well done by you.
Take this opportunity to give a special shout out to Jeremy Brown, who is tuning in and watching from Western Massachusetts. Jeremy, congratulations, of course, on the birth of your 2nd child.
That's wonderful.
And we'll see you at main event, man.
That great showcase that is just after Christmas, right before New Year's. Perfect Games, as far as signups go, largest by many showcase. It's more than 1,000 athletes every year.
Yes. And that ends up being across what are the events under the main event umbrella. There's 4 or 5 different little showcases, you know, but it's all one big main event. It's all in Fort Myers. The entire Perfect Game staff is there. So if you're looking to be seen by the entire Perfect Game scouting staff, we'll see you at main event.
And the PGTV team will be there as well. Good fastball, that's strike 3. Valencius may have kidded about the White Sox, but he loves watching Blake Snell pitch. Mr. Snell, I think, would love watching him pitch today. 6-0. 6-0 is the score. NEB with a new arm, trying to keep it right here as we move to the top of the 5th inning. Cade Mustard gets the call, number 25 on that jersey. Cade is from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, another Elon commit, quite a few on this team. So we've seen a couple of lefties. Brian, we get a chance to watch Cade go to work.
Yeah, absolutely, and give him a little different look. We'll see if he brings the mustard. Sorry, I couldn't.
I knew you'd do that.
I could not. I apologize to Cade and his family. But yeah, you know, a lot of the Jupiter formula for handling your arms as a team, there really isn't a set one.
Okay.
You know, there's some teams who are like, here are our starters. They are going to go as long as they can, and then we have relievers, and then we'll figure out the playoffs if we have to. Some teams structure it like this, where everyone will throw an inning or 2 through pool play, and then therefore they're pretty much all available to throw again if the playoffs were to come around. And there's prevailing schools of thought on which one's better, blah, 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 but to see teams do it like this, where all right, everyone's going to throw 2 innings at a time, 2 or 3, whatever, that's not uncommon. Just like on the other side, if Valencius were to go the complete game, because that's just how good he's been, that also is not uncommon here.
Shortstop Daniel Hernandez to lead it off, likes what he sees, fouls it back to the screen. Cade's from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. He's a pitcher, also middle infielder, so a good athlete. Central Dauphin High School. Chet is his dad, and Melanie is mom. Older sis is Michaela. All-state performer in his high school conference. Really good student as well. NHS, as that one sails just in and off the plate from Mustard. Very good athlete. Obviously, if you're pitching and playing in the middle of the infield, athleticism is a part of who you are, as that one sails high, 3-1. He says, in his own words, uses his body, can get down the mound well, fluid mechanics, can play both sides of the ball, strong arm across the infield, good runner, and above average IQ when being a part of this game. As that one well struck toward left field, tracking over his shoulder, unable to make the play out there. David Pengel hurrying on around into second with a couple of bases. Is the 11-hole hitter. We're batting 11. I was about to say 9-hole hitter. Daniel Hernandez with a double.
And a good piece of hitting there. You know, it's a 3-1 count. You're in your zone at that point. If it's in my zone, I'm going to hammer it. And he got a pitch there and got the barrel out front and did damage to the pull side. That's exactly what we're looking for. Got an 88-mile-an-hour fastball, kind of right down the middle, and just didn't miss it.
Nice zip off the fingertips then if we're looking at 88 from the mound. Let's see how he handles James Nunnally. Nunnally has just proven to be a pest in his 2 at-bats. He had a pretty single back in the first inning, ran the bases aggressively, and then was able to jog on Karn's 2-run homer, and stole a couple of bags after he walked last time. Just a pesky, pesky player. As he takes low and inside. 1 ball, 1 strike the count. Mustard, by the way, his World Series prediction, the Phillies. He said the fans are insane. I think that's a huge factor. Right back to the screen it goes. And Mustard, as far as those who he enjoys watching, grab your smartphone, look up some clips. It's Marcus Stroman. He's now one of the biggest players. He works hard. Loved him in the WBC when he had that time. He just said he's an athlete that's cool to watch. He definitely maximizes his abilities, Marcus.
Stro has definitely become that, you know, the idol's the wrong word, but like the face of the, hey, listen, this is how you get the most out of what God gave you. You know, it's not about being the biggest dude or the most athletic dude, but like this is how hard you work to get where I am. You know, and I think that's been nothing but good for a whole generation of players.
It's interesting. Pitchers that look at pitchers, there's a couple of guys that get mentioned pretty regularly. Marcus is one of them. And the other one, and I say this very peacefully, please understand what I'm about to say, but because he works to connect with so many young athletes through video, through YouTube, is Trevor Bauer. A lot of athletes will say, and this takes everything away as that throw down is knocked down at second base. You know, clearing the decks on everything to do with everything else, but just focusing on baseball when I say this, I think a lot of the athletes enjoy the fact that he tries to teach them a lot.
Yep.
So they mention guys like Stroman a lot too, because you talk about it. Stroman's not a strikeout per inning guy. Kind of a throwback, right? Willing to get uncomfortable contact.
Yep, absolutely. Looks for it. Wants uncomfortable contact.
So that's cool that's one of the guys that Mustard looks up to. 3-2 inside, ball 4.
In the age of social media, the potential connectivity between professional athletes and the players who admire them and look up to them, you know, it's become so easy. It's become so small of a world in that sense. You know, and it started with something as simple as like, I remember when Pitching Ninja was collecting pitch grips from pro guys, and he put them all in a folder for people to have access to, and that was maybe one of the first instances I remember of this. But now it's straight up, you know, tweet at the guy. Tweet at the player, and he'll respond to you and say, no, that's not what I do with my hand here. You know, this is that. And it's just so cool to see.
And I think it's just beginning as it pertains to the growth of a place like this and this space with the athletes. Major League Baseball, especially the Players Union. Swing and a miss. A couple of good sliders in a row. The runners will advance, though, as that one kicked away from Matt Conti. Players Union overall is very cognizant about over the next decade, and I'll put that out there, really touching this space even more. And it's something in good fortune to have a cup of coffee with Tony Clark, who leads the Players Union, and it's front and center for them. They talk about it a lot. This age group, these athletes. Good pitch. I had the look of a changeup, was it?
He's doing something there. Yeah, he's throwing a lot of sliders. He's changing speeds on it. That was a changeup there. You're right, Sut.
Woo.
But he's kind of mixing and matching out there. He's been up to 90 with the fastball now that he's gotten hot, and that changeup and the slider moving in 2 very different directions. He's got confidence in both.
There it is, another changeup. That almost has a little bit of split finger dive to it. That's a heck of a pitch. That's Hunter Carnes he struck out, by the way.
I wonder if it is a splitter set. I'd like to see the track, man. That would tell us, but. Oh,
they're going to put him on.
After getting ahead 0-1?
I don't like that if I'm Mustard. Instead, now he'll deal with Cade Brown.
Trying to set up a double play.
Here's a slide. Slider spins it off the plate outside. 1-0 the count to Cade. He flied to right field, also singled and scored, the perfect game All-American. Two and 0 the count. Pretty good speed for Cade a couple of years ago. He ran a 6.7 60. Played in so many travel ball games. This is 196th travel ball game here today. And in that time, a .415 career on base percentage. These games, 7 innings or 2 hours, whichever comes first. Can't start a 7th inning after the 2-hour mark. We had that occur in our first game that was wrapped after 6. It was just within about 3 minutes or so. High pop-up infield fly. That's a big, big out right there, my friend.
Absolutely. Needed that. We had a similar situation earlier in the game where I think we ended up being 1 strike away from maybe getting out of an inning, and then there was a 2-run single. So similar situation here for Mustard. Put him away. Don't let this lead get bigger. Get a strikeout here. Get some weak contact. You know, kind of keep attacking. You've been best when you've attacked.
To the backstop it goes. Just threw that one a little bit firm, and unfortunately a run score, so the clean inning won't occur. And it's a wild pitch there for Mustard. Mutters also move up to 2nd and 3rd. Just held on to that one too long.
Yep. Now, same opportunity, reset. Just keep attacking.
That one sails in and off the plate. Swing and a miss at a breaking ball. Good 2-0 pitch. Kelvin singled back in the first, line to right field. On 2-1, that one flutters in and off the plate. 3-1 the count.
It's interesting stuff here from Mustard, like
Yes.
no question. Like the changeup is really interesting in the way it moves and how often he throws it, how comfortable he is throwing it. The breaking ball has bite. The fastball comes out of the hand pretty well up to 90. Like it's a very interesting mix of stuff. The command isn't quite there yet, but that's any high school player. But this is a guy who, with that body projection, it's very intriguing.
And he works out of it outside of the wild pitch. I'm sure he'd love another shot at that. Mustard, strong stuff out there. Very bright future this 2024 who's headed to Elon. Mustard, his team looking to get it going. 7-0 is our number. 5-star top tier Roos on top. The defending champions of this event with the flex right out of the gates against the Northeast-based NEB. Tomas Valencias, for sure a prospect for sure. There's no other way to put it. Has been really good. It's been in a shutout thus far.
So you mentioned earlier that he's got to be hiding it a little bit or something like that. That was the very first view we've had of him, from straight on, like seeing him like that, like you're seeing him on the screen delivered. He absolutely hides that. You're not seeing that until it's coming out of the hand. And add the velo to that, add the stuff, add the quality. You can see why it's very difficult to hit this guy.
Luke Gallo waits as long as he can and slaps it over into the bullpen. Folks are warming up. 0-1 the count. No, you're right. I mean, there's a slight turn, a good tight arm circle behind his back, and when he comes up, boom, that's when you're seeing it. It's definitely not a long, draggy arm circle at all. And it's just the slightest of turns, right? That's all it takes.
Yep, that's all you need. You're keeping your arm stroke in line with your body as you go through the back there, as you finish that elbow spiral. And his back elbow gets a little bit high, but he's so in line that it never moves on either plane of his body to where you can see the ball in the hand or anything like that.
Luke, ground ball to short. Took a high hop, but sticking with it nicely. High throw, but you got a tall first baseman. And Daniel Hernandez is glad that Medina. I think when I come back in another life, I will vote to have my name be Adonis.
Mm-hmm.
That's nasty. That was a slider with some teeth, like fangs.
At that back foot, man.
Woo.
Those back foot sliders from the off-armed pitchers, depending on if you're a left-handed hitter or a right-handed hitter, obviously. But those pitches are so tough to do anything with.
So there's a couple of different looks. There's that pitch there, that firm cutting slider. Then there's a slower, probably more loopy curveball.
Turning over a changeup, too.
Yep.
Full mix.
Just looks easy. He looked like he was born to pitch. Medina, the Rhode Island commit. There's no interest in that one. That's way up and away. 2-2 the count. An older class of 24 student. He's almost 19 years old, Medina. And he takes low. He's had a nice run as a perfect game athlete. As a matter of fact, 39 games played at PG events, and on base of 425. And on base this year was 550 playing at PG events. 3-2 over the top of that one. Good downward dive, gets a swing and a miss. And summer, I kept working hard every day so that I could find a school that fits me for the next 4 years in college. Given the opportunity, went down to Georgia for the WWBA, and I took that opportunity to shine as he goes to work with a pitch outside. He went on to say, I know I just needed the right spotlight, and my opportunity would pay off with all the hard work. I've put in so much. I still want to keep doing it every day. He has earned that commitment to Elon because of it. I think we talk about that a lot. I mean, we talk about the number 1 through 50 player, the number 1 through 100 player, but boy, just getting a chance to play in college for thousands of athletes that come through PG. That's really the story.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Everyone knows the best players in the country. You know what I mean? So I love when we get to shine a spotlight on some guys who are not in that top tier of drafted high school guys, but dudes who are really good, who are going to go to college and then maybe have a chance to play pro ball after it. I love how we do that. One of my favorite parts of this job.
Mustard has that one flipped foul off the bat of Andrew Tess. Tess played for that top-tier Roos team, the American 2024 Navy squad at the 17U WWBA. Had 5 hits and 3 stolen bases during that event. Hit .278. We've seen him at pretty good events. He went to the National Underclass Showcase, the main event. And He patiently works himself against Cade Mustard a walk. That's twice he's walked in this game.
Love on base. Got to get on base. Have to do it. Have to walk. Have to take your walks. It is a pivotal part of being a complete hitter.
Looks like we might see a new bat here. We have Castellani listed, but it looks like they've gone to number 46, Jaden Harriel, out of Oldsmar, Florida. Jaden gets a chance to hit against Mustard, Cade Mustard. We'll see a little bit of that later in this game. We'll keep an eye out to introduce these athletes. Pretty pitch, fastball pours in there for a strike.
Mustard holding that velocity, been 88-90 here to start in the second inning. Kind of where he was in the last frame.
A snap throw to first, back in plenty of time. Jaden, by the way, from Oldsmar, as we mentioned, but is a Florida Atlantic commit. FAU is where he has made his commitment. We talked about earlier Nolan Chanowell, the great story, first-round pick out of FAU. Played all the way to the big leagues this year. Jaden's 18 years old as he gets this chance to hit. He's a top 100 third baseman in the country, as ranked by Perfect Game. Cade deals that one. It runs high and inside. 3-1 the count. Jaden, it's been a nice little travel ball career that may be ending here at Jupiter. 78 games played, a career .459 on base percentage. Just a quick word to the wise, if you're listening to my game calling, not anybody else's, you'll never hear me, or very rare, mention batting average. So just thought I'd pass that along. Hope I don't offend anyone.
That's because you are a intellectual, Darren.
I don't know about that. Ask my family. I think they'd debate that. Runner looking to move up. Oh, that throw's waiting on him. Oh, that's ball four. That's why it's waiting on him. Looked too good to be true as Harriel draws a walk. So back-to-back walks. I think especially in PG events, it just tells a story. If you've been able to get on nearly 50% of the time, dating all the way back to 2019, and you're playing in PG travel ball events, that's pretty good. Doesn't minimize the fact that he hit 359. There's that slider and a good one.
Breaking ball, get ahead.
Jackson Sirios has had a really good day. He's got a couple of singles, got a stolen base, he's got a run scored. There's definitely a thought here, too, if you try to save pitchers, shrink games, maybe get your pitcher, Valencius, to the finish line. There is a run rule of 8 after 5, so you think we'd love to get one and then get 3 outs. And even if it's by 1 inning, shorten a game. We'll see if that happens, though. And that's what was so great about, Mustard last inning, kind of wiggled off the hook nicely. Made sure that didn't happen. Leaked out front. Good pitch. Wynn held it up nicely, tagging and heading to third. In there with the slide is Andrew Tess. Sirios, they retire him for the first time today.
Get that runner 90 feet closer. Good heads-up base running there. It's hard to tag from second and get to third on a ball that isn't hit to right field necessarily. And that was a well-driven shot, but that wasn't the deepest part of the ballpark or anything. So that was just, a quick jump, good instincts, and obviously raw speed, too.
Mustard goes to work now, trying to strand that runner at third base. Mitchell Rodriguez, the Florida State commit, struck out a couple of times today. He's shown that fun changeup, too. Will look good to lefties, but he pulls the fastball way too far inside. What'd you say, Brian? High 80s for this arm?
Yeah. He's been up to 90 a handful of times, but generally sitting in that 88, 89 range, which is more than enough when you're spotting it up, especially off of that changeup that he throws.
there it was.
I'm going to be very, very interested to see the TrackMan after this game of his stuff specifically. I'd love to see the shapes.
What do you mean by that? Expound a little bit.
Yeah, so what I mean by shapes are the specific amount of movement in each direction, or whatever direction, as well as the spin rate and the release height and the spin direction, spin orientation. All of those things that are collected on a TrackMan, like they tell you that, they're beneficial to use. We can sit here and watch this and say, wow, that changeup is really, really taking off to the arm side. But if I go back and check TrackMan and it's like, hey, that's 23 inches of horizontal movement on that changeup, then that quantifies it, and we know that that is a ridiculous amount of run on the changeup. So it can tell us things our eyes can't see. It can confirm things for us that we think with our eyes, and it can tell us we're wrong too.
Slide into third. That's the trail runner there. That 8th run does score. It's a base hit and an RBI, the first hit for Mitchell Rodriguez. Thank you, by the way, for that thoughtful answer. All the way to third goes Jaden, hurrying on around. And there's that 8th run that they were looking for. Now they've got to get some outs. And think of it simply, like a lot of us, if you're watching this, played competitive sports. There is a point of pride in thinking we want to get one. We want to make them have to get us out 3 more outs. No matter, there's that, most teams, and I've watched it even in softball where the run rule comes into play, where there's a pride in not getting run rules.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That last push, you know what I mean?
You bet.
Yep.
You've got a game tomorrow. Why not have a good, strong half inning to end things?
Yep.
The defending champs, though, making a strong statement. They lead it by a score of 8-0.
And they've kind of done it every way, too. Obviously, they've gotten incredible pitching from Tomas Valencias, but there's been some good defense behind him. They have hit the long ball. They have moved runners. They have been athletic on the base pass. They've stolen bases. They've had timely hits. They've battled and made contact late in counts. They've kind of done it all, and that's a sign of a really good team.
Anderson Nance, I believe that's Anderson Nance who is hitting. I thought I noticed an 8 on the back of his jersey that he gets to call. Out of Eden, North Carolina. Got to tell those are good-looking uniforms, by the way. We got to beg them to put a number on the front as well. But I believe that's Anderson, number 8, getting a chance to hit.
I believe you're right.
Sneaking a peek wherever I can. Big A Anderson, out of Eden, North Carolina, is an NC State commit, the son of Sheila and Bradley, as Anderson hits a high fly ball center field. Good communication there. Getting out of the way was Pangol Medina. Adonis Medina makes the play. Another run scores. It's 9-0. So, another opportunity for an at-bat here. Wechter, we talk about him for the 2nd time. He had moved out, made a couple of nice plays at short. Goes after the first pitch he sees. It's a high pop-up, back of second base. Was lost out there. That one drops in. Unable to make the play, and they just want to make sure they get it in time. Looked like Krieger came on. He saw his teammate Conley drifting back and just unable to make the play. A little frustrated with himself. One more time. Sure if he lost it, Brian, at some point.
It's a high sky right now, and that could have just been he's got to make that play. That's not the second baseman's ball by any stretch of the imagination, but it could just have been a little bit of hesitation when you hear the footsteps from the second baseman coming out, and you don't want to get squared up in the chest with no warning or something like that. So lots of reasons that could have happened.
Big swing, high fly ball toward the alley in right center field. The center fielder comes on over, Medina that time, and makes the play for the out. Back to the top of the order in Nunley, who got a chance to swing the bat. Well, Brian, I think you said something appropriate in this 9-0 game. 3 outs, by the way, to a victory for John Hughes gets the call. A North Carolina commit as well.
An outstanding outing from Tomas Valencius, of course, through shutout. I almost say complete game shutout. Not quite. Shut him out over 5 innings. Struck out 5. Gave up a couple hits, couple walks, but we saw it. Was really efficient. I think he finished up at around 70 pitches. Got a bunch of swing and miss on all 3 of his pitches. Got some weak contact. Was generally in the strike zone. I think he was over 60% strikes thrown today. Really good outing from him on obviously a really big stage.
Yeah, really big stage. The golf carts, the scouts all around watching this one as Hughes fires a firm fastball up and away. We mentioned North Carolina commit, the son of Susan and Patrick Hughes. A couple of fastballs that miss high. He was the pitcher of the year at his high school. Won back-to-back state champions at Nazareth Academy. Quick visit, quick conversation. Luis Gonzalez, the home plate umpire. He'll give him a new baseball, but as a quick word of guidance for him.
I think he might have been going hand to mouth without a break in between or something like. I think that I might have saw that, but either way, obviously nothing bad. The umpire just goes out and gives him a little reminder.
That one sails high. Just looking to find the strike zone. 3-0 the count. He was a really good student, a 4.55 GPA, National Honor Society as well. There's that strike zone. 3-1 the count. How about that good old-fashioned green light on 3-0?
I love it. You're down 9. You're trying to stave off a mercy here or whatever it is, whatever your motivation may be. Absolutely, take a rip.
3-1 breaking ball misses up and away. Connolly is on. Hughes, his World Series prediction, the Atlanta Braves. The most well-rounded team, can hit like no other. Although, when it comes to watching players, it's not a Brave that he loves watching. It's a Dodger, veteran Clayton Kershaw. He said, I've always looked up to him. He said, the way he carries himself on and off the mound is how I want to be. He has the calm swagger, and I think I possess and need to continue to grow.
He's the thing about Kershaw for me, man, and like everyone, right, this is a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's one of the best lefties of all time. Like all that above, granting all of that, stipulating that. But the way that he stayed dominant as his stuff decreased into his, his older 30s, that's remarkable. He doesn't throw 98 anymore. He doesn't maybe have the best breaking ball in all of baseball anymore. His stuff ticked down a little bit because he got up there in age, and he's still just as dominant. That's amazing. That's remarkable to be able to reinvent yourself along the way. You know, it speaks to just how good he is, even though we already grant that he is amazing. But
back-to-back walks to start things. And here's what we talked about with NEB. The goal is, you know, play with pride. Like, we don't want you to knock us down an inning early. Long conversation over. Comes right back and fires a strike. 0-1 the count. Matt Conti's had a good day. Done a nice job behind the plate. He's had to work. He's singled. He's also grounded out to short. Bouncing ball could be 2. There's 1. On to first. Throw is low. Takes him off the bag. Unable to get that double play that time. So runners on first and third.
that was exactly what the outcome of that mound visit was intended for. Hey, man, we're up 9. Throw it down the middle. Throw it right down the middle and let them hit it. They will hit 3 balls at people. You know what I mean? Like, that's the talk you're having out there. We don't have to nibble. We don't have to show fine command. Like, just throw it down the middle. We're up 9. So, and then he did. Almost had a pretty tailor-made double play ball. Just couldn't quite turn it over. But either way, like, that's what you're telling these guys.
Veer Vadwani will go out and run. The Canadian out there running at first from Toronto. Strike 1.
Seen Veer play with the Toronto Mets, I believe. Shouts out to Ricky Leach's club.
Magnus, the right fielder, reached on a miscue, also grounded out to third. 2 runs are needed to move this game along. Although we're knocking a little closer to that 2-hour mark. Now a single gets you the runs you need.
A little defensive indifference there, although I'm sure we might mark that as a steal.
1-2 the count. Good fastball. That's strike 3, inner half. Just a little bit of tilt to it.
Wanted to see that. You know, they walked the first 2 guys, and I know there's really no pressure in the universe where you're up 9. So what, you walked a couple guys, but then it's good for us as evaluators. It's good for us sitting here watching him to bounce back and show that he has that command. And that was a perfectly located fastball in the inner third of the plate. Now we're 1 out away.
One and 1 the count. Big swing. 1-2 the count. Trying to put this game away and open things up 1-0. The defending champs, their opening game. Northeast-based team that they are dealing with. A rich history, NEB, by the way. The 1-2. Takes a pitch, hits a high pop-up right side, trailing back over his shoulder. Fine play made by Jackson Sirios. But win this game, had a couple of hits, and that'll do it for the opener for both of these teams. The 5-star top-tier Roos Mafia team wins it by a score of 9-0, looking to defend their national, or I should say world championship here at Jupiter. And a good one. And I think Tomas Valencius, one of the best parts of all of it, right?
Absolutely. He was dynamic. He was dominant. He really pitched in addition to just kind of showing good stuff. Up to 3, held that upper 80s, low 90s, threw 3 pitches for strikes, pitched in attack mode. He was great. He set the tone early. Hunter Carnes hit a ball 1,000,000 miles an hour. That set the tone early as well. And that's really kind of all they needed. They kind of cruised from there, and a pretty resounding win. Great start for him.
Yeah, make sure to follow Perfect Game on all the social platforms. Visit perfectgame.org. We'll be back with you tomorrow at 10:20 Eastern. Elite Squad Exposure. We'll have 2 games for you. Danny Wexelman will hop in this chair and be the voice of those 2 games, along with David Ronsley and Brian Sikowski. Our production team, Steve, Megan, Jim Jenks' leadership, everybody outstanding, our entire team. This has never been done before. Broadcasting from the quad. Trust me, folks, there's not a lot of power cords and Wi-Fi setups out here. Kudos to our production team. They've worked so hard to get us to this point. On behalf of that production team, everyone with Perfect Game, David Ronsley, Brian Sikowski, my name is Darren Sutton. Go visit perfectgame.org to learn more about all of the great events, and especially this one. We'll see you next time from Jupiter, Florida. Have a good evening.